Hello again. No, don't worry. I'm not gonna do a week's worth of videos in one day, but it just so happens that we have these here. This is a we're back to my sort of one of my favorite regions, so to speak, which is really the Northern Rhone. So this is from the Saint-Joseph region, but it's not technically Saint-Joseph. It's called Vin du Pays de l'Ardèche, les Îles Ferrées, by Pierre Gonon, Pierre and his brother Jean. So it's a 2019, and it's 100% Syrah, like most of the red wines from Saint Joseph are. Now this is, and Hani did a video on in 2018, last year, so maybe you want to watch that one too. But we visited the Gonon estate when we were together in France at the end of 2019. And I just, as soon as I opened this bottle, to me, it just put me right back in that cellar. But we spent maybe 2 hours tasting every barrel and every single component that goes into his assemblage of Saint Joseph, which is the benchmark wine for the area. It's probably the Saint Joseph these days. And this one is Îles Ferrées, that has as components Syrah from the plain, sort of more of the plain area right by the river. There used to be orchard, fruit trees and cherry trees and such, 30, 40 years ago. And some of the lower elevations of his vines on the Saint Joseph hills, and maybe some of the row ends and some of the younger vines. So it's that mix of a wine that's maybe a little bit less concentrated, and it's supposedly easier to drink younger. Like we've discussed before, some of these producers like to have this sort of laddering of some of the wines that they make to provide something for each type of customer. And so that becomes the Vin du Pays de l'Ardèche. He chooses not to call it Saint Joseph, and probably not to get it confused with the benchmark wine. And when I saw the video that Hani made, I just decided to get some for myself, and I get the 2019. And then this is the first bottle I'm opening. So it's just made basically by the top producer in Saint Joseph these days, and this is something that I guess raises expectations to some extent, but it puts you in the context of what we have. Looking at this is your typical sort of Syrah, dark Syrah. Purple, a little bit thick, like I like to call these colors, not because there's something in it necessarily, but it's probably more matter, more fruit in it. It's just very aromatic. I know I've been using this word a lot lately, but this one is just incredible. And on the flower side, so we're talking flower petals, some camphor, some of the alcohol coming through. This is over 14% in alcohol. And you don't have yet the development of some of the pepper notes that are really typical of Saint Joseph, and maybe it's a matter of time. And none of that citrusy note that sometimes I find in the Saint Joseph. But it's really lots of flower and a little bit of that sort of fruit, but sort of richer fruit, maybe plums, something like. So it's really more on those notes, and it's just very, very piercing, On the palate, every time I taste this, I want to say violet. And my wife keeps asking me, how do you know what violet tastes like? And I guess I don't, but I kind of do, because maybe it's a mix between the scent and the taste, but you definitely get a very, very strong note of violets in this wine. And again, when you think a little bit of the fact that violet is a known sort of notion and flavor or scent, if you're in the Saint Joseph Syrahs, it kind of all makes sense. And maybe you mix what you know with what you expect, with what you feel, and it sort of gives you, and it's very common in wine. And I think you just have to go with the flow. So the violet is there, the flower petals. The freshness is just and the acidity also, that's going to make it really great with food. And again, it's just really an incredible wine. Now it's funny because it's young, but I think we're catching it at a time where it probably was bottled not too long ago, maybe less than a year ago, and then this is still in its bright oxygenated, sort of phase. It's probably going to go dormant for a few years. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we had one 2 years from now. It would not be very interesting, and then it would kind of revive, 5 years from now. In any case, these are some of these wines that you have to, if you buy them, you drink some right away and you leave some for a very long time. Very, very good. I can't wait to start drinking the Saint Joseph's, which need a little more time. And these guys just make an incredible wine. Anyway, cheers, and see you soon.